Music, please.
We are Things
I
Found Online.
Starring
Joe
Cipriano,
Larry Morgan,
and Louise Palanker. Beware. Radio legends are
exploring
the internet.
But what about Lisa?
I'm just a guest.
Lisa is a radio legend. She worked at Premier Radio.
No, I mean, we just said 3 names and we didn't say Lisa's name.
Starring Lisa.
Starring Lisa.
Cushel Arch.
No,
Arch.
I dropped the Cushel.
Oh, Lisa. Do it again. Starring Lisa.
Starring Lisa Arch.
Yes, or Lisa Arch.
These rehearsals
Lisa
are
Arch.
so disorganized.
All right, I'm ready for the show now. Let's start the show.
Wait. Oh, this is the actual show.
Oh,
hey,
what?
We're
Crap.
talking. Oh, turn your page over. Okay, today's show is devoted to the art and the science of fangirling.
We're 4 episodes in, and we're getting worse. Is that happening?
Yes, we are
that
devolving.
That's good. I like that.
Exactly.
It's actually starting to sound good
We're
now.
biodegradable. It's
So we're
happening.
talking about what?
Fangirling.
Oh,
So,
well.
who's familiar, by a show of hands, who's familiar with the art and the science of
I know what fans are,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I've heard of girls.
girls? Girls are very
Although
popular.
he's never met one in
No,
person.
never. Nope.
No.
One day.
Do you ever have you ever kissed one? Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's
Lisa,
cute.
Larry, Lisa.
All right.
So, by way of explanation, like, we're sort of grown-ups who grew up on radio and television and movies and that sort of thing. And the kids, the young people that are growing up on the internet, they are very capable and able to connect over and through their love and devotion for a certain book, movie, character, storyline, what have you. With us, it was like
Posters.
Posters. Like, if you liked Duran
Duran.
then you flipped to the back of 16 magazine, and there was like a list of pen pals.
Oh, wow.
And then
She got all swoony.
Wow.
And you could find another pen pal.
Yeah.
Who
Did
liked,
you share your fangirling with other
Yes,
Durandies?
there was the
So how
Prince
was-
group and the Duran group, but I straddled that fence.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Okay.
Wow.
Easy,
There
my
you
son's
go.
a
Vicarious.
Heard about that.
Yes.
Her kids right there.
So
And he's gone.
and we drove the kid out of the room. All right.
But when you said 16 magazine, I
Yeah.
pictured like getting the poster from the back that was like folded in 4s.
Oh, yes.
And then you'd open it and it was big enough to make out with.
Simon.
I mean, hang up on your
Oh.
wall.
Well, I'm
Lullaby.
sorry. Big enough
like,
to hang out.
I said
to
make out
make
with.
out with.
Right.
But that was what all we had. We had conversations in person
Right.
with friends.
So for
and
me,
posters.
I just remember like being at the record store, and you're sort of like, at the Bee Gees bin, and someone sidles up to you and says, "So, do you like the Bee Gees?" And it was like kind of like, the way gay men met, only that would have been, over maybe not the Bee Gees, but that was kind of like.
Gay men met over Bee Gees music?
Well, I mean, you would kind of
Oh,
like
I see.
sidle over to like
Yeah.
the Liza, and be like, "Do you like?"
man.
Right, but like, so we just met.
Hello,
through sort of-
stereotypical.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
The show tunes section, is that what you're saying?
Right, exactly.
Oh, you
But yeah, it was like you were sort of desperate for people who shared your passion, but
Yes.
the ability to find them was not as
Sure.
abundant
Yeah.
as it is today with these young people. And so these
I see what you're saying. You were saying that essentially to find people with similar interests,
Right.
you would have to be standing near something that indicated you were interested
That
in
you
it,
liked.
as
Interest
opposed
was.
to finding
Ah.
it online.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, if you liked beer, you'd have to go to a pub to meet somebody.
and that
But
never
now,
happened.
You go to a website
Yeah.
That's right.
for people who like beer.
And get Amazon to deliver your beer, too.
Right, and your Instagram name is I Heart Beer.
Well, I was thinking
Exactly.
about that when I was watching Ron Howard's Beatles documentary
Yeah.
on Hulu, on
I
the
love
Hulu.
that.
Delicious.
But what occurred to me is that, early 60s, clearly there was no internet. The groundswell of fandom that happened just by word of mouth.
It is amazing.
Or on the radio.
There was barely television. I mean,
Right.
they were on Ed Sullivan and
And
did
they had
concerts.
barely been played on the radio,
Yeah.
and then it went from like overnight to think about how that happened just getting
That's true.
passed around.
That's
right,
true.
but that's because everyone loved the Beatles. It wasn't that difficult to find a person.
But you know what
No,
else?
but they didn't know. They didn't know about them, and then the next day they did.
But they
Right.
were on Ed Sullivan. And back then, there was only 3 shows on, and so Ed Sullivan
Everyone.
had 80% of the audience. So
Right.
all of America saw them
the
all
next
at once.
day at school,
Yeah.
everybody.
So I guess it's almost like, well, no. the internet.
Well, you can be much more specific about what you like, and you can kind of like dig deep into whatever you like and whatever influenced whoever's writing whatever you liked and whatever influenced whoever was influenced by whoever. Like you can really super fan out.
I've never heard anybody use ever so much in one sentence.
You can never emerge. From
you said never
from your room.
You went from ever to never.
Potentially.
Yeah,
Does fangirling, that term, cover boys and girls?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was confused about that.
It
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
So there's no such. So
There's
you
fanboys.
There's fanboys.
There's fanboys. Yeah. In fact, I used to put on comedy shows, and we had Zach Galifianakis. This is like maybe 10 years ago, and these two guys showed up. They were like 25, and they're like, yeah, can you seat us really close? We're fanboys. And that was the first time I heard the word, and I was
wow.
like, adorable.
Yeah.
So
Adorbs.
Yeah.
we have. Can you click on the first link, which is like it's kind of like, are you a fangirl? It was 13 signs. I forget. It's odysseyonline.com. If you can click. Yeah, before that video, there was another link that I sent you. But if you can't, that's okay. But it was like 13 signs that you're a fangirl. It's like sort of like
Okay,
goes
right.
through like the phases of like discovery, into obsession. And
So let me ask you this. So there were the Duran Duran fans, and you had your Simon Le Bon lovers, and you had your John Taylor lovers, and everybody had their band member that they were obsessed with.
Right.
So I'm assuming there's like the Duran Duran pages, then there's the Simon Le Bon pages,
Right.
then there's
Oh,
so
sure,
it just
yeah.
gets narrower and narrower.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Interesting.
And then
Even down to specific artists. I mean, within a band.
Right.
You know, the
right.
drummer.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly.
right, and
Yeah.
then you obsess over their dog
Yeah.
names.
Well, recent examples would be like the One Direction guys, and surely everybody.
Don't
had-
call me Shirley.
Sorry about that, Shirley. They all had their favorite dudes within that band, and it became kind of broken down too, where there were hairy girls, and there were. that was-
Wait a minute. There were hairy
That's
girls?
terrible.
There's
talking about-
always
I
going to
will
be
give
hairy
them my
girls.
waxing
Mr.
phone
Styles.
number.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about Mr.
Yes.
Styles,
No,
of
but, like,
course.
some
Harry
of
I would
those-
take that. That's the only One
Yeah,
Direction guy I
exactly.
know.
That's the only one
But
I
some
know
of
where I'd
those
help you
bands
out.
are.
Oh, there's a Liam. There's got to be a
There's a
Liam.
Liam.
I'm sure there's
Oh,
a
okay.
Liam.
Some of those bands are genetically engineered to have someone for everyone, and that's kind of like a little sort
Wow,
of
that's
manipulated.
manipulative.
It really is.
Boy, you're right, though, right?
Yes,
because there's
'cause-
always a different type in there, a different look. They've got a wide range of. It goes back to New Kids on the Block, where Donnie was the bad boy because he
It
didn't
goes
shave all the time and
further
he wore
back.
the leather.
It goes further back.
Yeah,
back
sure.
to the Beatles because
Yeah,
John
but-
kind of was
he
the
was
bad
dreamy.
boy.
No, I'm sorry, Paul was dreamy.
Paul was
Paul
cute.
was a cute one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
Ringo was the funny one.
And
George was
the best one.
Okay, well,
For purists.
According to George's mom.
George
Yes.
George fan.
So how
fangirls.
would you say, Louise, that fangirling?
I would say Louise. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, how would you say? How would we all say Louise?
Every little breeze seems to whisper it.
So how has it changed in your research? Clearly, you've been looking at this today. How has fangirling changed dramatically since you were fangirling?
It's
and
very.
who were you fangirling?
Oh, the
Yeah,
cow
good
sills.
question.
Oh,
the cow
wow.
sills.
Cow sills. So
And
I-
you brought that to
I full
fruition.
circle.
Yes.
Grew up and made a movie about
About
my
the cow
childhood
sills.
idols.
You couldn't have
Wow.
been more ultimately a fangirl by other than making a document.
It's fangirl
growing
absolution.
up, making a
Yes.
documentary, and getting it on premium cable. That's taking it to the
that
full
is
extreme.
the ultimate.
I
That
think
is.
so.
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Wow.
Congratulations!
Please. Way to go, girl.
All right, so I'm like leading the fangirl army, I guess.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
All right, so what happens
Follow
now?
me, girls.
What happens now is that you can express your devotion in different ways. And so we have a video that we're going to play, and this is by, she calls herself Superwoman, but then there's like 2 eyes before it and 2 eyes after it, sort of like Roman numeral 2.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And she's fantastic. So this is
back there.
Yeah.
this is how you know the stages
We all have a
of
little
fangirl.
fangirl inside of us, especially you boys. I mean, I fangirl sometimes. The Rock, Selena Gomez, Alex Russo. Shut up, no, they're different people who are both real. And through my own inability to have chill, I've identified the 5 stages of becoming a fangirl. Stage 1, discovery. Now this is that joyous and confusing moment where you discover Idol X, totally unaware that your entire life is about to change. Who is this?
Taylor Swift. Oh yeah, I heard some girls at school talking about her. She's cute.
She is. Like, do I like this song?
I'm still deciding.
Same. Like, I think I do? Let's watch another one. This one's called Trouble. Stage 2, instant obsession. Now, this stage can occur anywhere from 20 seconds to 1 month after discovery, and it is when your body, heart, mind, soul, and hormones decide you don't just like this person. No, okay? You are obsessed with this person. I love her.
She is my everything.
I can't even, look at me, I can't even, like I'm trying to even, but I can't.
Babe,
Mom,
I'm crying.
slay me.
I die.
I am deceased. Stage 3, fandom. In this stage, you either create a fandom/fan club or you join one. But either way, it doesn't matter because now this is your full-time job. And other things like eating, sleeping, socializing with other human beings, no longer a priority. Okay, done. I changed my Twitter to Swifty5ever.
My Instagram is now Tay is Bebe7.
That's good. Oh my god, her new song comes out in 7 days. We have to start campaigning on Twitter.
Australia's fandom already started because for them it's 6 days.
Oh my god, like all of their posts.
Of course, because
We're not a fan club, we're a family.
There we go. That's
Stage
So-
4, defense.
So you can fade that out. That is
Wow.
pretty much covering what happens.
Now, I just realized why I have never been a complete fangirl.
You're not willing
You
to.
don't go to the
I'm
fan club?
No, I'm
extent?
just way too lazy.
Oh.
And I'm not even kidding. Like, I will fall in love with a certain singer or actor, whatever, but I will start delving in and then just go, "Pfft."
No, I agree.
I don't
I
care.
can't. I can't remember the number of times
It's a lot of effort.
like my favorite band is playing, but if they're slightly far away and it comes to that night and we've
just
got
like,
the tickets in my hand, I go,
Parking.
oh my god, there's going to be so many people.
Babysitting.
I have to
Yeah.
convince myself to go. So yeah, I regret it, but
Right.
at the same time, I'm also
At the same
I'm
time,
okay with it.
couch.
Yeah,
couch.
Right? Couch is so nice.
Couches.
Oh, I love
couches.
couch.
You know what I'm a fangirl for?
couch.
Couch.
Yeah.
I freaking love my couch. I'm
Cozy.
obsessed. It's so cozy.
Do you belong to the couch fan club?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, I'm the chairperson.
Oh, no.
Loving this.
Oh, man.
So,
Fan couching.
So fangirls will also, they'll react to something that's sort of happening in the world of their fanhood.
Yeah.
So I guess Doctor Who is a show, and
Yeah,
but
pretty
there's
popular one.
They keep changing Doctor Who.
Yes.
It's sort of like
Right.
the Darrens when we were kids.
Yes, or
Darrins.
the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy now.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
you're right.
It's
They've gone
barely
through
like
4.
either one of those, but okay.
So they just picked a female Doctor Who, and the internet
Cool.
broke itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it fell upon its own weight.
Yes.
So
Wow.
go ahead and play this video.
Hello,
Yeah.
my fellow Whovians. My name is Tessa Netting. If you did not know, I love Doctor Who. David Tennant is my doctor. I did not skip 9. Vincent and the Doctor is my favorite episode of all time. And Weeping Angels still freak me out. You feel me? This past week,
I don't feel her.
BBC
Me
announced
neither.
the new
So
13th
tired.
Doctor, and she is a woman. Well, 14th Doctor if you count the War Doctor, but you get it. Now, naturally,
I don't
some
get it.
people on the internet are upset about this casting, and
Ugh.
I understand. Some women believe this is a political pandering gimmick instead of a genuine push for representation. Some men believe that an alien can't be a doctor unless it has a penis. Don't worry, boys. She'll still have a penis. This is the penis. But let's talk through this, shall we? For a show that's all about change and regeneration, Doctor Who fans are bad at change. We never want the current Doctor to leave, and then we always hate the new Doctor at first. 11 was too young, 12 was too old, 13 is too not a man. For 50 years, the Doctor has been played by a white male actor. We are used to having a white man in this role. And pretty recently, 2 of those white men were young and oddly attractive white men. And the other was basically Rick from Rick and Morty. Tiny Rick! A lot of women have a romanticized view of this show because who wouldn't want to be whisked away by David Tennant? I volunteer. But now with a woman as the lead, we don't have to picture the Doctor rescuing us and taking us on an adventure. We can take ourselves
That is
on an
Tessa Netting, and
adventure.
she is
We can be
adorable.
the
She
Wow.
is.
Yeah.
So, any Doctor Who fans here?
Doctor what now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So, but you can tell that, they're very into it. And
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Now, I would have thought that you, Larry Morgan, would have been a Doctor Who guy.
I know of it, and I probably know more about it as somebody who's never watched it before than the average newbie. I just haven't dug in yet.
Yeah.
What's the outlet? Is it
British.
Hulu? It's British. It's like BBC.
BBC, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's where you go. You just,
It's got,
You look for British.
It's oddly hard to find, but it's
Yeah.
just got the most, people who are into it are rabid
so
about
into it.
Yeah.
Apparently,
This did, I mean, but that kind of thing happens when they make those kind of changes. I mean, that is also the level where you're not quite at that extreme fan situation where you get visibly and physically upset over the change of something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because every single time they've changed Doctor Who, there's been an outcry of some sort.
Right.
I mean, and Lisa and I probably experienced that moment where we started going to a female gynecologist. And it's like,
still haven't
you
done
do
that.
get used to it.
I still haven't done that.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Still with
Okay.
a guy.
All right, we'll
Yeah,
talk.
okay.
All right, so I draw parallels that are not appropriate.
I
it's
will
okay.
tell you, though.
Yeah.
No, you.
No,
You
no.
barely
I
spoken.
was just thinking. I know women that have also done that, and it seems to make sense to me.
Sure.
Switch to a female gynecologist.
Well, yeah, isn't it kind of weird that there's a dude
Going
going down there,
poking around down there with something that looks... Yeah.
I mean, that's
Mine stopped doing the cave joke
Did
after
they?
the first few times. Yeah. Yeah.
Your healthcare plan must be excellent.
It got better. I went from
you
tier
must
2
have
to
a-
tier 1.
Yeah,
he
right.
started to do it. I showed him my card.
Don't
and he
do
stopped.
that. Yeah. You must have a PPO. Yeah.
She has a pee-pee.
Wait a minute.
Never mind.
Oh my God! Your coverage doesn't cover that joke.
So what
all right.
happens after you get super fanned into something is
Yeah.
you start like fantasizing about couples that you want to see. Kind of like for me, it was maybe it was like with Felicity, where there were two Scotts, as far as I can remember. There was Scott A and Scott B that she went to college with, and and then with Twilight, it was
Yeah.
like Team
Oh
Edward.
yeah,
sure.
That was maybe its peak. I mean, T-shirts
Right.
were being made.
Oh,
Team
my God.
Edward
Right.
and Team what's his
Oh,
name?
wow.
And
Yeah.
then if you ship them, you sort of blend their names, and that means you want to see this couple happen, and people get really into it.
Interesting.
And then something has emerged online called ship wars, where they are arguing with each other and defaming one another's character
Right.
over whether or not a certain relationship should become a thing.
Sure.
And so
Jeez,
to illustrate
man.
that phenomenon, and so here's what's great. Before you play the video, guys, the name of the YouTuber is Aramecker Shipper Forever. So she's blended the names,
Oh yeah.
to something.
Arameca shipper.
And that's
forever.
her YouTube name. And then in the video description, she writes, "Just felt like talking about this. By the way, I have my most respect for Ereri and Eraman shippers. If they want to ship those ships, that's their business.
What are they
What
talking
is
about?
happening?
But then don't be an ass
Yes.
and hate on Aramika shippers for no
no
reason.
reason. Yes.
No.
This exists. How did we? What is this?
That's why this show needs to be here.
I feel so
Okay.
like I've been missing. There's so many things I'm missing.
We're here to point this out to the rest of regular Facebook.
Right.
That doesn't know that that's right here parallel
Right.
to our own
You're
lives.
pointing it out to me though, because
Yeah.
I don't know any.
Am
of
I
this.
stupid to ask what exactly is shipping or a shipper?
So someone who
Or to
wants
be
to see a
shipped.
relationship happen.
Okay.
That is the fantasizing of a relationship.
So why is that a ship? Is it-
relationship.
Oh gosh.
See, because the kids don't have time for those multi-syllabic
They're very
words
busy
anymore.
posting videos like this one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
all right.
watch.
I hate fandoms that spread constant misinformation as far as the eye can see. And unfortunately, Attack on Titan is one of those. Everyone knows Attack on Titan fandom is brutal for spreading misinformation all over the internet.
Right?
They got half the characters dead when they aren't really dead.
I mean-
they had Levi in his grave for 2 years. They
What
had
do you-
Armin dead for a period of a few months.
What even?
What
Even some of them are like, oh, Aaron's dead.
Her instead.
Christ, would you people just pick up the goddamn manga?
Right. Pick
But,
up the
you know,
manga.
That's like that with
what?
most fandoms. There's always going to be a bunch of assholes who spread misinformation. They don't
Always.
affect me personally because I read the manga, but for people who
course you
don't,
do.
it can be pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
Just pick up the
Yeah.
manga.
Manga.
What is a manga?
See? Oh, here we go.
Okay, so you can fade this out, Drew,
Yeah.
Wow.
and Larry
There
is
were a
going
lot of
to
words
define
there.
the word manga.
Lisa, it
Oh, yeah,
completely,
manga.
because you
Yeah.
haven't been led by your child into a comic book store in recent history, you haven't necessarily seen the manga section.
Okay.
Which is, or for that matter, freaking Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
I mean, manga is a world that I have passed by for years, and until I saw my son actually kind of picking through it, it's Japanese anime graphic novels, but they exist in kind of their own universe.
Okay.
And talk about fangirls,
Right.
But guys, and often because of let's just say the portrayal of certain.
Is it sexy?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
drawn.
It's drawn.
I just want to be clear.
Well, let
Right.
me and
Yeah.
let me
Okay.
be clear.
Okay.
Boys and hormones.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Illustrations.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Here. Let me add something else.
Okay.
Daphne and Scooby Doo. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with the internet,
Yikes.
but I'm just going to say this is something I've never realized until this moment, Louise.
Oh, good.
Men can be turned on by drawing.
By a
Oh, of
drawing.
course.
Oh,
Of course.
You could draw the hottest man on the planet.
And it wouldn't do anything for
and
you.
I would be like,
Yeah.
that's pen on paper.
You
Right.
missed last week's Flintstones fan fiction where Wilma and Betty had.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a
Threesome.
long
Sure.
story.
Yeah.
They banged
And
pearls.
by the way, Betty.
They banged her.
Betty was hot. No, men will get turned on by just about anything.
Oh, just
Right.
that, by a chair.
Yeah.
So
Or a
Lisa,
table.
this
Right.
whole concept
talk slower,
of
Joe.
illustrated erotica
Yes.
Doesn't
existed
take much.
way before the art and science of photography.
Right.
So
Oh, good
people
point.
were
That's a great point.
probably drawing whatever their imagination
Erotica.
needed
Right.
to see,
Yes.
By the
or
way,
sculpting it.
manga's not
Right.
specifically
sculpting.
erotic. I mean, manga is action, adventure, fantasy. I mean,
Right.
It's everything.
and it's
It's
an
storyline.
anime style, visualization, but it has some very extreme stuff in it. The violence is crazy. Oh, do we even get into tentacles? Do we even talk about? No, Drew. I think that's a no from Drew.
Wow.
I'm scared now.
Yeah, you don't just Google it in the privacy of your own
Oh, my
couch.
gosh. Okay.
All right. So, but there's really excellent storytelling here, right?
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and they go deep.
No, this is. I mean, there's a huge fan base for it. Not just because it's superfluous, because it goes deep.
It
and
speaks to people.
Yeah, it's Tolkien like in its saga and how it stretches through across all
And
these genres.
is the audience only young boys, or does it go into adulthood and
obviously,
beyond?
Women,
I think she was a
obviously,
girl,
young
yeah.
ladies
Oh, and
are
women,
into
yeah,
it,
sure.
and yeah, I think people hang on to it for a long. It's a huge business. I mean, walk into the few Barnes and Nobles that are left and look at the manga section, and you will be blown away.
Yeah.
Not only is it huge, but there are at least a dozen people sitting there on the floor paging
We're going
through
through it,
these
right.
things.
Are there
Yeah.
clothes on?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
For the most part.
Are
Yeah.
you visualizing that, Louise?
No.
Okay.
I'm drawing it for my manga, my sub manga.
You to make a manga.
But Lisa, how?
Louise made a manga out of me.
Yes.
How? But I mean, how different? Well, I guess it's a stupid question. I mean, if something's drawn
It's
and
never
something's
stop.
on
There are no
something's on a
stupid.
poster in your wall,
Right.
They're both not within. They're not
Three-dimensional.
three-dimensional.
Absolutely, but
beings.
I guess I don't know. I'm just saying that hormonally, and I'm going to be very careful here because my son just walked back in. Hormonally,
And there he goes.
no, honey, you can stay. You can stay
No, you
because
can
it's
stay.
a challenge for me to learn how to
Mommy's
speak.
gonna have an adult talk.
Exactly.
Let's get her cozied up on the couch.
I can't. I just think that's a dude. I just think it's a guy thing.
I agree.
To
I
see,
agree.
like,
I agree.
holy, look at the knockers on that stick figure that I just drew on my desk in third grade.
Yeah,
like,
but can you
it's this-
imagine knockers on a stick figure?
That
now
would be,
that's
that would be
that's
amazing.
huge. Tom.
Yes,
huge.
that would be amazing.
Huge.
But yeah, I
Uh-oh.
just
Your son just left.
he's so angry. No, he's not at all. But yeah, so I just think guys and women.
No,
are
I-
Well, guys are
agree.
very visual.
Yeah.
They're very visually
Right.
stimulated.
And guys
so-
are very easy.
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
And also, if you're drawing, you can really exaggerate And since guys,
Right. Absolutely.
yeah.
Look,
Absolutely.
look, 14-year-old boy, a good breeze is going to do it. So
Sure.
it's like I don't see the big leap when you're talking about the pulchritude of a beautifully drawn animated
so if you're
object.
looking at a manga with a ceiling fan above you, it's over.
Off the hook.
It's off the
yeah,
hook.
it's over in a very short amount of time.
There's going to be a manga
And that's another
fan
problem.
page soon. All about mangas and fans.
Mangas and
How
fans.
I tried it today where I was like on page 13 and I moved the fan just
Yeah.
a little further away.
It was so hot.
I don't know what's happening. What is happening?
So,
my
but
God.
there is a fandom that Lisa and I belong to proudly.
Oh.
What?
We are
Yes.
Hamilfans.
Oh.
Yes.
I just saw it in New York.
I just saw it in Los Angeles.
How about that? We're bi-coastal.
What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously the theater, first of all, is absolutely gorgeous in New York. Everything's on a smaller scale, but it's,
Yes.
it's
You should also
beautiful.
look at the stage
right.
during the performance
when it's happening.
Yeah.
because there's stuff going on up there.
Really?
I mean, I know it's a nice room, but
Well,
you should.
yes.
Yeah.
But before it happened, I was turning around. I was looking. No,
Oh
it
no,
really,
yeah, the theaters in New York, and
Beautiful.
for me, like seeing Hamilton in New York was really important because it's a play about New York, and it was born and
Right,
raised
exactly.
in New York.
Yeah.
And there's rap in it. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
And
there was
there's
quite
music
a bit.
and
There's
stuff.
music and rap.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was surprised to see such a big groundswell for something based on the life of George Hamilton because
No, Larry.
he was. I mean,
No.
Larry?
I have a lot of respect for his
I think
career.
you got
Google
that
Google
wrong.
Hamilton the
Yeah.
musical.
Hamilton, okay.
It's not George
Yeah,
Hamilton,
not George
although he's
Hamilton.
had a rich and colored life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mostly colored.
Mostly
Very
yeah.
tan.
Orange.
Mostly
Yes.
one color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Alexander Hamilton is a gentleman you will find on the $10 bill.
Yes.
And he is one of the founding fathers who was like brilliant yet flawed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So true.
And so-
and never a president.
And he was an immigrant and never a president
Yeah.
because there was some scandalous
he
stuff
was
that went on.
first big scandal.
Don't
Oh,
give
yeah.
away the ending.
No.
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 So wait, Alexander
Don't
Hamilton
sing away the ending.
and Eliza would be
Oh.
Eliza.
Oh, we could
how
ship
would you
them.
ship
Good one.
them?
Lisa.
We could ship.
Alex.
Well, we should ship Alexander and
Elizander.
and Angelica because that would be interesting to ship since
True.
they weren't really a couple.
Right. So they would
Okay.
be
Alex-
Alexandrica.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alexandrica.
Right. And
Yeah.
if we go online and ship that, we're going to get attacked.
Angelica.
We will get
Right.
attacked. Yeah.
People will be like, nah,
Nah.
he was with Eliza.
Yeah, stop it.
Don't try to ship him with her sister.
One true.
Garrett's going to want to sit in for this because
okay.
he's a Hamill fan.
All right,
Oh,
Garrett,
is he?
come on in.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
buddy.
right.
We're going to talk about.
Here, I'll move my stuff.
Well, you should. I mean, I would love to hear because Lisa described to me the way her family was. There was a period of time when you
Yeah.
guys, well before you had seen the musical,
A year and a half before.
that you just had the cast album,
Yes.
right? And that was what kind. And the tradition was what every day. Garrett, what did you guys do? Like, how often was Hamilton in your life
when we first started
before you
listening
saw
to
the
it.
musical?
I would wake up in the morning,
Right?
listen to Hamilton.
Yes.
Wow.
At night, I would turn it off, and the next morning, I'd listen to it.
Yeah.
So it really was on all the
It
time
was-
when he wasn't at school.
When I wasn't at school, I'd get in the car and listen to it. If I wasn't in the
Wow.
car, I'd
Because you were telling me, Lisa, you guys would drive to school basically with it and do it at the top of your lungs
Top
at the
of our
point that
lungs.
you had learned everything about it.
Everything.
I had no idea.
Yes,
That's
we
know
were
really
every
obsessed.
single
cool.
lyric to every single song.
And I think it's a pretty typical story. So for me,
You
like,
guys are Hamill fans.
well,
We're
the
big
arc that
Hamill
I went
fans.
on was first read the Chernow book because I wanted to kind of know all the details before I would allow myself to listen to the music. So everyone had their own way of doing it. Like my brother said he wanted to go to the play without knowing anything, and I'm like, but what if you get confused?
Right.
Like, because I wanted to know everything. So the Chernow book, I did audio book.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and-
but does he sings it, right?
No, he doesn't.
No, that's what
It's,
I'm gonna do because I can't. I keep picking it up and putting it down because couch
And the audio
So
couch.
I'm gonna
The audio
do
book,
that.
and it's dense, and so
I would love to hear Ron Chernow do an audiobook of the musical. Just saying,
it's not Ron Chernow that
does
reads
a
the audiobook. It's
bastard?
another voice actor
Gonna give away
that Joe
my
probably
shot.
knows.
I'm not gonna give
Don't
away
know who
Throw
that
away.
is, Yeah.
Throw
Throw
away
away.
my shot.
My setup for it was to just watch old Milk commercials.
And that got you there? Amber.
That was my entire.
And that gets you there. All right. And then I took
Do you remember that?
I took my husband
You're
on
too-
a Hamilton
you're too
road
young for
trip
that.
where
Yeah.
we would play the soundtrack and I would stop after every song and then tell him what was going on. And he still asked a lot of questions like you don't quite get every detail just from listening to the soundtrack.
No.
But if you read, and then I read Lin-Manuel's book about the making of Hamilton. So there's just a lot of exploring that you can do.
Also, the PBS documentary,
Yes.
was it American Masters documentary, is also because of the parallel story of Lin talking about the making of the musical, that he documented so much of writing it while he was finishing up In the Heights.
Right.
And I loved In the Heights.
Yes.
Another good one.
Showing the cast going around to some of the actual historical places, and also his own story of his father being an immigrant from Puerto Rico.
Don't do that.
Puerto.
That
Stop.
2 hours of that documentary was as moving to me, I felt, as watching. I mean, I was tearing up during that.
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
And then the moments that they show from the musical were so astounding. That was one of the most beautifully constructed documentaries I've ever seen, to really give you a full vision of his inspiration, how he responded, why he responded to it personally, because you would never off the top of your head think, what is the connection between this, this musical genius, this creator,
Right.
this book he randomly picked up and read that seems like a dry piece of history,
Yeah.
and how he was able to connect that with his own life.
Amazing.
It's fascinating.
And
thing.
when you get to the line, who lives, who dies, who tells your story, it's just so powerful because that has meaning on 100 different levels.
Yes.
Once you've experienced all of it.
Yeah.
Because here's Lin-Manuel, the son of Puerto Rican immigrants, he's the man that was chosen to tell Alexander Hamilton's
Yeah.
story.
Isn't that amazing?
Clearly, yeah.
But when he said
Love
in that
that.
documentary, I went on vacation, I opened this book, and the
was
words
just
were
sitting there.
jumping off the
Yeah.
page to me,
Right.
and I could see the music, and I'm like, that I don't even
Yeah.
he's a genius.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
And so we're big Hamill fans, but we're not alone. Garrett is a Hamill fan.
Yes, he
and
is.
Yes, big time.
but then there are stages to becoming a Hamill fan.
Are there?
Yeah, and we're going to pick this one up at like stage 18 or so. I'm not sure exactly
Okay.
because there's a lot of stages. But these two girls are absolutely adorable, and they are called Jonas Almost Famous is the YouTube channel.
Is dinner ready? I'm so hungry.
No, not yet.
That's okay. I'm willing to wait for it.
Why do you ride like you're running out of time?
It's finals week. You drink too much coffee.
I am not throwing away my shot.
I just fixed my hair. How does it look?
Awesome! Wow!
I want more.
Dude, you've already had 2 bowls.
I'll never be satisfied.
Are you kidding me?
Just one more bowl. That will be enough.
Teach me how to say goodbye.
You'll be back. Brought to you by Hamilton Trash.
So
Click, boom.
there's that moment, Garrett. Did this happen to you where every word reminds you of Hamilton lyrics?
Yes.
Yes. We call them Hamil triggers.
It's still
Hamil
very
trigger.
funny. It's still ongoing in our house.
It is,
Yeah, I'm
very.
trying to remember what I called you yesterday. Of course I can't because that would be entertaining for the people. But no, it's constant. It's constant in our house.
And it continues. Are you still listening to the soundtrack, or have we gotten past
No,
that?
we just started again.
Again,
So
yeah.
we stopped kind of for a few months because he got really into the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, which was amazing because it's all like
Oh,
1970s. It's
Wow.
Great.
phenomenal.
Classic hits and
Yes.
rock stuff, yeah.
And then we got back into I'm listening to Hamilton again every day. I was walking home from school today after walking Garrett to school and singing the entire album out loud
Without me?
Uh-oh.
without you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, he and I mean,
That's really amazing.
he knows the whole thing.
Yeah,
The whole thing.
I know he does.
Yeah.
and he will act it out with his friends.
He
what I've
will
heard.
act it out. Yes.
I
but
want to do a mini play with them.
Oh.
He's desperate
all
to do
of
that.
my friends know it, so I want to do.
Oh, you got to do that.
A showcase.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
You really should.
My dad's got a barn. Come
Yeah.
on, let's put it
do
on.
it.
We can
Yeah.
debut it on this show.
That would be
Exactly.
amazing.
And then put it up online.
I would love it. Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So Lin-Manuel, genius, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genius and Lin-Manuel Miranda to the rescue because he
Yes.
has, like, in a matter of days, put together a song to benefit the victims of Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. And he got together like a bunch of people like Mark Anthony, Ruben Blades. I'm going to mispronounce some
Ruben
of these.
Blades.
Gloria Stefan.
Gloria Stefan, Fat Joe, Luis Fonza, a whole bunch of people. You can look it up.
John Leguizamo. Huh.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No,
So
he
we're
is
going
a
to play
singer as well.
And hopefully Lin-Manuel wants us to share this, and this video won't get yanked for
No,
for sharing
because
it.
he wants to raise money. He's already raised, I think, over $1 million.
Right.
And
So let's play a little.
Let's hear a little
He
bit.
won't mind.
Before we move on from It's Almost Like Praying, and the video has been online for 3 days as we speak to you, but Helen Dick, bless her heart, has already done a Zumba video. Do you have
Wow.
Helen's Zumba video? She set
Fantastic.
the camera up in her driveway, and here she goes.
Oh,
She doesn't recommend that you
fantastic.
try this at home without stretching
no.
first.
Is this just something you found?
When I was first looking for any video having to do with Almost Like Praying, this came up.
This is Helen.
Oh, man.
So it's pretty exciting. So we're going to go around the room. What do you fangirl over?
Oh, wow.
And I think it's time for us to divulge.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Joe?
Well, it's nowhere near the level that we've been at. We've been at a very high level, but I am fanboying over Seth MacFarlane's TV show, The Orville.
Oh.
Did you bring a clip?
I did bring a clip.
Oh.
It's actually, we'll see if the guys can. Do
you want to set up that clip,
bring it
Joe?
up here? Well, this is actually from the kind of like the sizzle reel that sets up the show. So, but it just gives you an idea of the humor. It's the same kind of Family Guy humor. What was the movie he did? A Million Ways to Die in the Old West.
Die in the West,
which
yeah.
was so over the top, gross, and critics really didn't go for it.
Right.
Critics are not going for the Orville as well, but it's that same kind of humor. Although when he was in a film, maybe he went a little too far because he has the restrictions of TV. It's not gross and disgusting, but it's still that very funny, sarcastic Family Guy kind of humor. And here it is.
Do you recognize
That's not
this
it.
voice?
That's not
Steve
it.
Ducey? He hired Steve Ducey.
Where did that? That's no. That's the wrong.
Wrong clip. I think you're watching Joe's
I think
voiceover reel.
That's
think
my
that-
interview reel from the book.
I think that's in your signature in your
It
email.
is in the signature.
It's possible that I
Do you
grabbed
guys
the
have
wrong.
the-
I grabbed the wrong link and sent it.
Oh.
Do not
Because
blame
it's
Drew.
in your signature in
This
the
could
email.
be. This could be.
Yeah.
No,
my-
I don't usually put it in there. But in any case, if we don't get to watch it, they moved it to Thursday nights. I think they're on their 4th or 5th episode. It's very funny. There are a lot of people that are not Seth MacFarlane fans because he's a little over the top and he feels that he can do everything.
Right.
He hosted the Oscars.
He's beyond
He
reproach.
sings up here right by your beautiful home at the, what's the jazz club
At
right here?
Vitelli,
Not Vitelli.
No, up at the top of the hill.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, at the Vibe. Yeah, at Vibe. Isn't
It's
it
not
called
Vibe, no.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's called. It's not the Catalina
Or-
one. It's a different one.
It is a different one.
Yeah.
Well, that's neither
You got
here
it?
nor there.
All right, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Also one that you're glad to be serving on. Lieutenant Commander Bordus. Your entire species is male, isn't it?
Move the
That is
person.
correct, sir.
Probably not a lot of arguments about leaving the toilet seat up and that kind of thing, right?
Mocklins urinate only once per year.
Really?
Wouldn't that be great?
I'm up 2-3 times a night.
That is unfortunate.
It is. Time to meet the locals. Hi, I'm Captain Ed Mercer. Holy crap! We don't mean your family any harm.
Well, we did just shoot his dad.
Aside from shooting your dad, we don't mean your family any harm.
That's good, guys.
Captain, there's a message coming in from
That's
Admiral
good.
Halsey.
So it's like a
It says
Star
that an
Trek
executive
parody.
It
officer
is.
has
It's
become a
definitely an homage to Star Trek.
It's not even a parody as much because they actually, he's really
He's
trying
wearing-
to tell, he's clearly got an affection for it. He's trying to tell stories.
They're telling some pretty heavy stories at the same time.
with like
wrapped around with
social
the comedy.
conscious stuff involved there with kind of jokes.
Absolutely.
dropped in. So
It's
people
very
are having trouble with the
thought-provoking.
tone, I think. Because it's a full hour, right?
It's
like
an hour. That's the other thing that's
Holy
so
cow.
unusual. It's a comedy that's an hour. So
Right.
it's breaking all of the normal traditions.
vibrato.
But there you go.
is the
Vibrato!
club. Yes.
Good job. Did you find that online?
I did find
Good
it.
job.
What is vibrato? Oh, that's where
It's the
Seth
jazz
MacFarlane
club.
That's
sings.
That's
And
Okay.
Herb
he
Alpert's jazz
That's
club.
right.
Oh, okay.
By the way, a fun place to go for you sit at the bar, have a little cocktail, and there's always somebody performing.
Is Herb Albert going to be there when I go? Because I would like to sit at the bar with him.
His daughter might be there.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, he's around. I mean, he'll park your car. Yeah.
Oh, well,
I don't know. He's fine. He doesn't. He's
and he
fine.
just blows his horn when your car
That's right.
car arrives.
So I was out of the country. I was in Barcelona, and I could not watch Barcelona. I could not watch the Orville online because being in Spain, they blocked
restrictions
anything coming out of the good old US.
So now
today.
you get to catch up on it.
I did catch up on it with a little mustard.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's not right.
Hey, it's wordplay, everybody.
Okay.
So, this is not my fan. Well, maybe I'm fangirling over this. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So, did you guys know that the Pope did a TED Talk?
Wait, are we still going around and talking about our fangirl
yeah. Let's
list?
finish. Well, his was sort of blended.
Where,
like what he
see.
brought
Okay.
online and his fangirling was
Okay.
the same. So, Lisa, what do you
Got
fangirl
it.
over?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
I was interested.
Lisa.
Garrett, wait.
Yeah, okay, no, but this.
Here we go.
No, but I
Garrett,
was gonna.
what does your mom fangirl over?
What do you think? Well, what we found
My
so
dad.
far is Hamilton for sure.
Yeah, but here's what I will tell you. This is what I was going to relate back to earlier.
Okay.
I used to be such a big fan of Sex and the City.
Mm-hmm.
Again, never went into that level of digging into their lives or whatever. But when Carrie cheated on Aiden and then they broke up, and my husband Russell can attest to this, I was fetal position,
Catatonic.
on the floor,
Wow.
crying, like sobbing.
Wow.
So maybe
Oh my God,
flash
Lisa.
forward, if that took place now, maybe I would have gotten in line and been like, no, Caden or
Right,
Harry,
Got
whatever
it.
their names together would have been.
Sure.
But otherwise, way too
What do you
lazy.
got?
He's got one.
For you.
Okay.
Maybe This Is Us?
Oh, this is us.
No.
I like it, but no.
No.
I mean, you're right that I really enjoy it, but no, I more Rick and Morty than that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
But-
the other one that you were watching in Chicago?
Real Housewives of Orange County. No, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't watch that?
No, never
no.
more than once a day.
Nope.
Well, I don't know, but you say what you're fanboying over big time.
Project
Yeah.
Runway?
Oh, Project Runway. I'm sort of a fangirl. Yeah.
My wife would be on that.
Yeah.
What she used to fangirl about was Friday Night Lights. That was huge.
Now that is
Oh,
that's on
yes.
my queue because I have never
Oh,
seen
my
it and
God.
I'm dying
Oh,
to.
No.
you
Yeah.
cry
Yes.
when it's over.
I love that.
you don't
she's-
know what you're going to do
she's
with
watched
yourself.
that
Right.
finale at least a couple times
Yeah.
with girlfriends coming over to
Oh.
watch it again.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. It will take a piece of you
What were you
when it
gonna
goes
say?
away.
What are you a fanboy of?
Friends.
Friends.
That's so cool.
Listen.
So
I've
huge.
I would-
The reason is I'm on almost the 10th season, and I've watched every episode more than 7 times.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I'm with you.
Are you
Wow.
really?
Well, if I'm when on a plane and you can watch live TV.
Yes.
If there's a Friends
Yep.
on or a Seinfeld, I'm in.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're in. You're in.
And I'll just let it go, and then all of a sudden 5 hours is gone.
There you
I
go.
don't know if you can see this, but this was Garrett's birthday cake this year.
Let's see.
Oh
Can you
wow, it's a friend's cake.
Is it? Oh, it's a Friends cake.
And
At
he's-
Central Perk.
Yep, and he's in there. Garrett's in there in the corner.
Wow.
That's
pretty great.
You are one great mom.
Well,
Let's look at all the other pictures.
no, don't you swipe. Don't swipe.
Don't
Larry?
swipe.
Fanboy?
I have only really honestly fanboyed one thing in my entire life, and that's David Letterman. He's
yes, you have.
That's
I
true.
mean,
We
I
all did
was
that.
I was mildly obsessed with him before he even had a TV show. He had done stand up at US. I watched his morning show that nobody watched.
I watched that morning show too.
Watched it every
Loved
day.
it.
I watched
He
it
actually
every day.
it was canceled when I was going to USC. He came and did stand up at USC.
Wow.
I was in the front row at Bovard Auditorium for his stand up. And then when he took over the late night slot, I watched it every night. I bought a black and white set that I could have in my dorm room so I could watch it.
Well,
so
we're gonna
and
have-
I wrote to NBC. I wrote to David Letterman.
Same.
And got a response.
And got a response?
I got a response.
Became best friends with Steve O'Donnell.
Yes.
And
Because
that's all,
of that?
Yes, and he's going to come on the show.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait a
So
minute.
it's like-
David Letterman is coming on this show?
Yes.
If I become your friend, will you stop bugging me? 'Cause those are the
Letterman's going
terms.
to be on Kimmel coming up.
That's right.
Yes,
His
that's gonna
first
be
talk
awesome.
show appearance.
Yeah.
He's got his own show he's working on.
Wow.
So yeah, I still kind of fanboy Letterman.
That's good, Larry.
He, like many other people our age, he kind of crystallized our comic sensibility when nobody else on TV
So many people
was.
have that
Right.
sense of humor because of him.
I was in love with him.
The closest
love
thing
with him.
I would have now is still connected to my childhood, but I clearly am still very hooked into the Star Wars stuff because
Yes.
I was on the radio last night and I was still keeping an eye on Monday Night Football the whole time, going, "When's the trailer? When's the trailer going to
roll?"
I was and was giddy, and I watched it five times last night. I let a song run out accidentally because I was watching the freaking Star Wars trailer.
Can you
my
still do
gosh.
that? Let songs run out in today's radio?
He's on the good old-fashioned radio.
Yeah. I thought things
So for
automatically
me-
happened.
for
No,
me,
I'm in
Fangirl?
control.
Oh.
I'm listening.
Will and Grace.
I've never seen it.
Are you thrilled with the reboot?
Beyond.
Oh yeah.
That's
Clearly, you're not
awesome.
alone because
I
that was
watched both of
such
those.
such a groundswell to have that come back. Clearly,
I could watch any episode over and over, and
Yeah.
it's just the strangest thing. It just tickles and delights me.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I gotta
can see
watch it.
if you're not into it, I start.
I loved it.
They're all on Hulu,
Yeah.
and then you can start watching
And
the
start
new
watching
the new
the new
season
ones.
where nobody has aged, which is
No, it's incredible.
That's
How many
ridiculous.
years was it off?
It was off
A
for 10
decade,
years,
right?
10 years,
yeah.
and they all look very
The same.
very much the same.
I actually
I'm sorry. I have a cough.
It's all right.
I watched because it's on Hulu. It automatically started playing a random Will and Grace episode after one of the new ones. And,
interesting.
And it was clearly they were younger, but you're right. It's like, oh God, they look.
They do.
It's not just that it's so funny. It was so groundbreaking and so important, and not a lot of people give Ellen a lot of credit, which justifiably and deservedly.
Yes.
But like Will and Grace did so much to just kind of like societally normalize your sexual preference.
Right,
It's just
that's
like,
true.
I like olives, I don't like peas, I like guys, I don't like girls.
Yeah.
Like that's just a thing. It's not
Socially,
a
it was-
big
yeah.
deal.
I think
Yeah.
now in hindsight, people recognize, it was maybe more influential than it was given credit for. And at the
I
time,
think
people
so.
talked about it,
Yeah.
but it was just so well done. It was almost glossed over because it was like, that's just a funny show, and those people are fun to
And you know
watch.
what else? Again, it's you're talking about friends as well. It's that any kind of a relationship like that, you
Yeah.
want to be friends with them.
Oh,
you want to go to the Will and Grace's apartment. You want to see them. You want to be with friends at Central Park.
Not close friends though, because they're kind of selfish.
Yeah.
So acquaintances,
Right.
Okay.
No, about
Right.
22 minutes of Jack is probably all you'd want once a week. So I think it's perfect. I
Yes,
don't know what.
that's the right. That's the.
I don't know if you want to be around that guy. all that
Proper
much.
dosage of some Jack. So, who else do we have to go to? Larry, you brought something from online.
Yeah, are we moving away from fangirling?
Oh, what?
Are we all
did
done?
I
Did
skip
you-
over something
Did
important?
you do yours? You did yours.
Yeah,
You
Will and
did
Grace.
yours.
I
Oh,
don't
I
have
I'm
one.
going to do the Pope. I think we should close with the Pope, though.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Always close with the Pope.
So you want to know what
Yeah.
I found online? Is that it?
Showbiz tradition.
I thought that I had a great idea for like an app or something, and so I looked it up today, and sure enough, it exists.
It's already there.
Damn it.
But it's a great idea, and I know you're all going to agree with me on
Do
this.
tell.
Have you ever wondered, before you sit down, especially if you have a hypersensitive significant other, are we going to like this show if we watch it together? And if there's a dog in it, is the dog going to die? And then my wife's going to hate me. Have you ever
Yes.
wondered?
Yeah, yeah.
And you just want to know that one thing. So all you got to
Just
do...
if the dog's gonna die?
Yes! So all you have to do is go to doesthedogdie.com.
DoesTheDogDie.com.
And you can look up
That's
any
hilarious.
TV show, any movie, and it will tell you. But
there it is.
They've expanded their questions. So I looked up. Now I saw Blade Runner 2049,
Right.
by the way. Which, by the way, I
You could
also
click
am
on Blade Runner.
fanboying the crap over.
Right.
Yes.
I
Wow.
was blown away.
Oh, you were.
What's that?
No
No spoilers.
No, I know. The only thing I could possibly say is that if you liked the first one, it is a perfect companion.
Nice.
And I was. How old was I then? I was a youngster all over again.
Okay.
I had my my
So since I didn't see the first one, I'm just going to take that.
Right,
I will
exactly.
probably not see this one.
You know what? I'm with you on
I
that.
don't
didn't
think
see
it's
the
my
first one either.
thing.
Oh,
No.
what the hell
Sorry,
are you
guys.
people?
But we really respect
But-
you guys.
So, but I did look up Blade Runner 2049, the new one, on Does the Dog Die?
could click on
.com.
it.
So here are the questions that it asks, and it gives you those answers. Does an animal die? No.
No.
Turns out there is a dog in the movie. We don't know if it's a replicant or not, but it doesn't matter.
But wait, are there going to be spoilers? Because John's going to be really mad.
It doesn't matter. John, you're okay here in
Well,
this,
first
right?
of all, there's no dogs.
No spoilers.
No, okay.
I
no
think he
dogs
means
die.
it.
All right, so it asks, is someone burned alive? No.
That's
sorry,
a spoiler.
But I didn't. But okay, so what?
Were there hangnails?
Are there bugs / snakes? Yes. Are there clowns? No.
No.
So wait,
Well,
you
that
can
comes
go
from
to
it,
each individual movie and it has these questions
So
answered?
if you're
Yeah.
sensitive to any of these issues,
So I tried to think of how many
It is
yeses
fun.
could I find
Right.
for all these questions, because there's a standard number of questions, and this is my favorite. I went to Game of Thrones. Does an animal
Lord.
die? Yes. Does a kid die? Yes.
Yes.
Does a parent die? Yes. Is someone burned alive? Yes. Is there torture? Yes. Are there bugs and snakes? Yes. Are there clowns? No. Are there? Is there a shower scene? Yes.
Yes.
Are there strobe effects? No.
There's really hardly any of those.
By the way, how many movies or TV shows would you like to know if there's an annoying strobe effect in there? They're
All
true.
of them.
That's true.
Here are my favorite final two. Is there shaving / cutting? Apparently, that's a
Oh.
That's a
problem for
trigger.
people.
That is a
By the
trigger.
way, definitely a big yes on Game of Thrones.
Yes.
My favorite question is very critical to any TV show or movie. Does someone fart / vomit / spit? And by the way, the answer for Game of Thrones and Blade Runner, yes.
Gotta be yes.
Can I
Gotta
just
be yes.
say you can't put farting and puking in the same category?
That's true.
Right?
Well, yeah.
no, but in every child's movie, in lieu of actual humor,
Yeah.
that is what they do, and a crotch kick.
Right.
I think they're basically
true.
just kind of unfortunately lumping any sort of projectile
Body function.
bodily function fluid.
And in a
thing.
romantic comedy, there's always somewhere in the middle of the movie where there's music and people dance.
So I
or
want
a
to.
baguette in
And
a
strobe.
in a
There you
paper
go,
bag.
So I want to know: is there a question? Because they do take suggestions. Is there a question missing from that list that you would like to know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there frontal nudity? Like, you would think that would be
Oh,
there.
Lisa, you would go right there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mine would be, does Trump speak? Because that is a trigger.
Is there a Trump cameo? I think that's actually a really important one.
God.
Yeah. I don't know. But
No,
I love
there's-
the site. I love the site.
That is
I think
brilliant.
I love
Isn't that great?
I love that.
But
That's
does the-
great.
Is there? Oh, I know. But that's in there. Is there torture?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's in there.
my least favorite.
I can't. Cannot.
Humans harming willfully
Nope.
other humans, I can't.
Or even the leading up to the possible harming. I can't.
All right.
I
Well,
can't
I'm
take.
just going to tell you right now: do not watch Ozark on Netflix.
Ozark.
And then
Yes.
wait until the final episode because it
man.
turned.
Ugh. This is why I don't watch Game of Thrones. Russ begs me, like, will you please sit down and watch this with me? And I'm like, well, no, he stopped because he knows I can't do it.
He knows.
I can't do
I
it.
can't do it.
I'm sure it's brilliant. I cannot.
And for me, it was the
do
same
it.
with Sopranos. Like, everybody just kept saying,
See,
"Oh, you had."
Sopranos, for some reason, I could do.
You could do that?
Yeah.
Well, see, my wife won't do certain shows she knows are going to be violent. I'm watching The Sopranos on my own now. Finally,
Oh,
15
wow.
years after it's been done. But
I could do that. I could do Breaking Bad.
She got into Breaking Bad too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my
Yeah.
wife loved Breaking
It's
Bad.
my favorite show of all time.
I don't know what the dividing line is. I can't figure. You know what? Turns out you women are different than
We're
us.
very confusing.
You're so different.
Wow.
And I don't,
Very
and I don't mean just
complicated.
your boobies on your
Right.
stick body.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
it all goes back.
You know who I think can help us understand humanity?
The Pope.
The
The Pope.
Oh.
The Pope.
And not just the Pope, but
Yes.
the Pope giving a TED Talk.
That's so awesome.
and the Pope talking about science.
It's the Pope.
That solves
I am
everything.
so in.
We're all part of the same organism, and we have to work together.
Wow.
Oh,
And
I'm
he-
gonna
and he-
have to
and he-
rethink
and he-
my whole life.
Yeah.
He says it in a white robe, so it's true.
Right.
Right.
It makes it true.
With a simple tie around the waist.
This is an elegant Pope. I call him Pope Frankie
Do you?
because we're close.
Yeah.
And he's kind of adorable. So
have you ridden for his? Have you joined his fan club?
Fangirling over Pope Frank.
That's phenomenal.
Who would I ship him with?
Oh,
no, it doesn't work. I don't think it works.
What?
I'm not really sure that's going to work.
Okay, not allowed? Against the rules?
He's shipped with God.
He is shipped with God.
There you
shipped
go.
with God.
Gapope. So
Fransad,
Lisa,
what?
did you bring something that you found online? I don't.
I
don't
did,
recall.
but I didn't send it to you, so you're not going to be able to get it. I thought I'd be able to just. But I had a costume party to go to on Saturday night, and I decided to dress as a Wonder Old Woman.
Oh my
Wonder
God,
Old Woman.
Lisa. I saw this picture.
Yeah, me
saw
too.
this on the Facebook.
I stared at this
dang
thing
it.
for the longest time.
Lisa,
And
that
said-
was brilliant.
And Larry
Thank
said
you.
she has really let herself go.
Wonder Old Woman.
Yeah.
The first thing I said is, this is so rare to let that Lisa lets herself be seen without makeup.
So mean.
Ironically, there was a ton of makeup.
So
Ironically,
mean.
very good, Louise.
Yeah, that's right.
Was I
To make
using-
her look old,
you
she needed
needed-
makeup.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And you also just changed your whole physicality.
Well,
to look
I
like
added
you
a
had been,
front butt, and I put a
You had to-
strapless bra really low,
The
and
slouched,
filled it so I
the
could
slouched
my boobs
shoulders.
were touching my stomach.
Come on
All
up.
right, here we go.
there,
But
let's take a
step
look.
right up.
There
There's
she is.
Wonder Old Woman. Aw.
It's even better seeing it again. I love that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Still super.
Look at the face. Look at that.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Good job, Lisa.
But
Oh,
so
my
what I
God.
found online was this woman who does, and I know 80 million people do makeup tutorials, but she does beauty makeup, but then did this old age tutorial. And all I did was watch it while I was doing my makeup, and I just kept pausing it and doing exactly what she did.
Which is her intention.
I would think so.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to kind of give her a shout
Let's
out.
give her a shout out.
She's on YouTube. It's Coy Makeup, COY Makeup.
COY
and
Makeup.
she has
COY makeup
COY.
on YouTube.
Coy
Drew.
Makeup. And she has tons of amazing tutorials. I want to watch others, but I did my makeup in 20 minutes.
Wow.
Watching her.
So you
How
watched the
great for-
tutorial and did it yourself.
Great
Yeah.
tip. Great tip for Halloween for
Yes.
people looking
Very
for it.
good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I would never know how to start. I don't have that kind of imagination. So if she's going step by step.
Yep,
and-
step by step. And there's tons of people who have, monster
yes.
and zombie and
Yeah.
Alphaba and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Why was there a party for a costume party so far away from
Because
Halloween?
my dear friend, her husband, who is also a dear friend, has he's obsessed with Halloween, and for his birthday every year he has a costume party.
That's fun.
Drew
Yes.
found her. We can give her a
Oh,
let's see.
yay.
There she is.
Let's give her
Let's give her a shout out.
a shout
Yeah.
Yeah,
out.
like she does.
Boy.
Look at
Good
all
job.
that.
She's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. You
That's
should be up there,
fantastic.
Lise, as
But
an
I
example.
looked at so many tutorials, and hers, it was very clear and smart, and she tells you everything she's doing and why. Like she was like, you outline here, and then when you fill that in with highlight, you give yourself a pooch. But it was really cool,
And
and
is
I
there an
loved it.
ingredient list as well where you have to go out and buy these certain...
It was 3 powders. I
Wow.
literally used a brown eyeshadow, a white eyeshadow, and a red eyeshadow.
You know what
Wow.
I use to look old?
What?
Time and gravity.
Hey, there it is. Come on, everybody.
We are things I found out loud online.
Out
Let's
loud.
our show. We are things
You know
I
what?
found
You
online.
just shipped to...
I shipped my podcast. Thank you, Joe.
Brilliant.
They're in love. It's the one true love. So Joe Cipriano, Larry Morgan, Lisa Arch, and in the booth we've got John Maddox,
Yeah.
Drew Friends Blah. I am Louise Palanker. Please subscribe to our channel and watch us every week because we're your biggest fan. And send anything you found online to us, and we will feature it in an upcoming episode.
And Garrett Arch was on too.
Garrett
Yes,
Arch. Garrett, where's Jasper Maddox? Does he want to be on the show? Jasper Maddox, come to you in the closing credits.
in the closing credits.
This song, by the way, was written and produced by me and John Maddox.
I love
Really?
it. It's very kicky.
It's Nancy.
It is kicky.
The name of the song with lyrics is the Coffee Song.
Oh, I like
Let's
that.
sit over there, both of you.
You know what? It sounds like that.
You
It
know
sounds
what
like,
kind?
Jasper.
What kind of the coffee? It's nice. It's
be
very
on-
good.
All right, Garrett.
Thanks to Jasper Maddox.
Yeah.
Come on in, Jasper.
Look at those adorable boys.
I know. Look at that. All right, Garrett.
That's our staff.
Go out on
Interns.
go out on a big rousing Hamilton number to wrap things up.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
yeah. You want to take your headphones off for that?
This is your
Just
shot.
launch into
Do
it.
it. You have to lower the
The
music.
music is going to mess them up.
Okay, lower the music.
Yeah.
Here
I'm not throwing away my shot.
Boom!
Yeah.